Welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you on my channel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about scalping. And what I have today is one of the best scalping strategies. So before I embark on today's video, please, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, like and share this video. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we have new content. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how we are going to be scalping, how we are going to be buying in crash and selling in boom. So let's start with the indicators. So we're gonna go to the small F icon on top here. This is the F icon. Then we click it. Then we're gonna add the first indicator. So we're gonna add indicators that we're gonna put on our indicators window on our chart. So on our chart, we're only going to be having the Ichimoku. So these are the settings. So you can take a screenshot and we move on to the next indicator. So what is important here is that you have to make sure that the Tekken Sen is the only indicator that will have the color. The other lines will have the color of your background. So make sure that this one is the only one with a color. So in my case, I've put I'm going to be using black, but the rest I'm gonna be using the color of my background. So I have a white background, and I make sure that the rest of the colors will have a white background. Once you're done, you're gonna click done. So if you go back to our chart, we can see we have this line, which is our Ichimoku. Then we're gonna now add indicators on our indicators window. So to start, we're gonna start with the relative strength index. So this is our relative strength index. So we're gonna use period 1, apply to close. Then our star, we don't want the RSI to be visible. We only want the levels on the RSI. So we're gonna use the color of our background. I have white, so I'm gonna use white on my style. Then here, that's where it is important on our levels. So on our levels, we're gonna have these following values. We have 10, 90, 80, and 20. So those are our values. Then when you're done, you click done. So if you go back, we can check here that we have these on our indicator window. We now have our RSI. So we're gonna put the next indicator, which is going to be our we go back to the R, the same procedure. Then we go on to the commodity channel index, the CCI. On our CCI, we have the following values. So we have the period is going to be 120. Apply to typical price. So if you come here, it will be here. We're gonna be making use of this one. In our case, we have this one. Typical. Okay, let me change. Typical price, high, low, close divided by 3. This one. So this one is the one that we're gonna make use of. Then we're gonna on our star we're gonna make use of red. Then the levels, we're not gonna make use of the levels. So let me quickly delete the levels. The levels, we get them from the RSI. So once you're done, you're gonna click done. Then if you come back here, we have this line on our indicators window. Then we're also going to add our last indicator, which is the MACD. We're gonna make use of the MACD. So on our MACD, we have the following settings. So on our MACD, what is important, these are just default. If you come here, your chart will be like this. But what is more important is this. I'm gonna remove the signal line, and I'm gonna put the color white. Then here I'm gonna put the color blue, and I'll use 2 pixels here. Let me just use 1. So this is the most important part. Then the rest you can just leave it as it is. Then if you click done, you come back. Then we now have our strategy. So most people normally ask about the zoom level. So if you zoom out completely, zoom once, the third zoom level, this is what we're going to be making use of. our third zoom level. So how this strategy works, we're gonna wait one for the histogram, this blue part of the MACD. It must reach between 20 and 10 level. It must be between 20 and 10, or 10 and 20. And we also wait for the red line, which is our CCI, to reach level 10 and 20. It must be between those levels. Then once these conditions have been satisfied, we then check on the main chart, our Ichimoku. The candles must cross the Ichimoku. Then we are going to buy only 5 candles. 5 candles, then we close. So there are two ways that we can take our profit. We can make use of the 5 candles is our take profit, which is the safest, because we don't want to end up being caught by a spike. So if you use this one, it will be safe. Or you can take the risk of waiting for the MACD, the histogram, to cross above the zero line here. So you're going to take your profit at this point when the histogram now crosses above. So you're going to be taking our profit at this point. So we can use the crossing of the histogram, crossing above the zero line here, is our take profit. So basically that's what we're going to be doing. So this strategy works best in boom and crash 1000. So this is an example. We're going to look for at least 2 more examples. Here we also have the same situation where the histogram is between 10 and 20, and our red line, which is our CCI, is between 10 and 20. And we also have the Ichimoku crossing above the candles crossing above the Ichimoku. Then we take our 5 candles, or we can wait for the crossing of the MACD above the zero line. Then we are good to go. Then let's look for another example again. Here we have an example. The same conditions have been satisfied. We can see the red line is between 10 and 20, and the histogram, the blue part, this one, is also between 10. Then we also have the crossing of the Ichimoku. Then we go up with the market. So we have multiple examples. Also here we have an example. Also here we also have an example. So there are a lot of examples. You have multiple entries per day. And also here we also have an example. So let's not waste time. Let's go on boom 1000. Boom 1000. This is how the strategy works. So we can see here we had an example, a good example. One, we wait for the histogram to reach between 80 and 90, and also the CCI must reach between 80 and 90. Once that is done, we wait for the candles to cross the Ichimoku. At this point, we sell and we take our 5 candles, or we can wait for the crossing of the main line, this histogram of the MACD, which is our main line. It has to cross below 0. Then here it crosses below 0. Then we exit the market. So one, that's a good example. Let's look for another perfect example. Here again, we also have an example. We can see it's our histogram. The main line of the MACD is between 80 and 90, and we also have the CCI between 80 and 90, and the crossing of the MACD, the crossing on the main chart of the Ichimoku by the candles going down. Then we take out 5 candles, or we can wait for the crossing of the main line when it crosses 0 going downwards. Then we close our trade. So that's one. Let's look for more. 2, there's another example again. All the conditions were met here, and we're going to take our sale here. So that's basically it. Here we also have an example. Okay, we also have an example here. We'll have multiple opportunities to be able to sell in boom. So most people have been asking, how is when you're explaining it becomes easy, but when you're now implementing the strategy it becomes difficult, or sometimes we're actually being caught by spikes. I'm going to explain this. Regardless of how good the strategy might be, if you don't check the trend on high time frame. Are we having a downtrend? Are we having an uptrend? You're still going to lose, no matter how good the strategy might be. So it is important for you to constantly check the higher time frames. Are we having a downtrend? In boom 1000, for us to sell, we need to have a downtrend. So you make sure that you can see the low highs and the low lows. And then if you go to your H4, you can go to a H1, even to the 50 minutes time frame. Check if you are having that zigzag movement. Those waves, the high low, the low, the low high. That is very important. That's the only way you can be safe when you're using scalping. It is very, very profitable strategy to use, but make sure you always check the high time frame. And when you're caught by a spike, make sure you instantly exit. Or if you are very sure about the trend, you can wait and recover your money and then you close your trade. But as you'll be waiting, if you're caught by another spike, make sure you instantly close. Okay, you are free to join our Telegram group where I post some indicators, where I also post some signals, and I also post some free EAs. So I've inserted the link on our description, but I want to take your attention to the I want to take your attention to what we have recently created. So I've been working on some indicators which will make our trading to be very, very, very easy. So I created what I call the spike arrows. So you can see, I know it's a dark screen, but you can see there are some red arrows. So these spike indicators or spike detectors, they work in crash, booming crash from 1000 to 500 and also to 300. We also have these spike indicators. So yeah, also free to get in touch and also contact me if you're interested in these spike indicators. So we have for boom, we have for crash, all the 1000, the 500 and the 300. And I've recently created two indicators. One is for boom 1000 and crash 1000, the scalping arrow. I call that the scalping arrow. I've created the scalping arrow. So I sometimes post the results. Okay, here we can see that in crash we can see that we have an arrow. So it makes scalping easy if you'll be making use of these arrows, because once the arrow appears on your chart, there will be an audible alert. You can also set up your push notifications. I have also made a video on how you can enable push notifications so that you receive notification from your phone once there's an arrow on your PC. So once there's an arrow, you take your 5 candles and you exit. So these arrows are available. Get in touch with me so that you can get these arrows. And I have also created what I call the volatility index killer arrow. Volatility index killer arrow. This is the volatility index killer arrow. This one works in volatility, all the volatility indices, all those that you know, and it can also work basically in from 50-minute time frame going upwards up to daily time frame. You'll be making use of these arrows. These arrows, they make trading so easy because there will be no need for you to analyze the market. The arrows will do the analysis for you, and you can simply buy and sell making use of this arrow, avoiding the stress and sometimes your analysis can be wrong, and you end up making losses. But these arrows, they've been drastically tested, and they work 100%. So if you're interested in getting these arrows, the spike arrow, the scalping arrow, and the volatility killer index arrow, please get in touch with me. I've inserted my details in the description below. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.